So with the amount of hype and excitement that everyone currently has for the potential future Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, I thought, why not take some time and look back at the original Pokemon games of Diamond and Pearl and take a look at specifically 10 facts about Pokemon Diamond and Pearl that you maybe didn't know. So let's get right into it. So first up, did you know that there was a scrapped event in Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl for the legendary Pokemon Arceus, which was actually in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and was planned to be a catchable Pokemon but never ended up being obtainable because it could only be found with the key item, the Azure Flute, which would basically open up another floor on Skypilla. However, to get the Azure Flute, you needed to receive it from a Nintendo-sanctioned event, which never ended up happening. So the only way to actually get the Arceus was to either trade it over from another game or to cheat your way into getting the Azure Flute for the event to take place. But there doesn't exist any actual way to legitimately get your hands on the Azure Flute as it wasn't distributed by Nintendo. So Arceus basically is impossible to catch in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. However, there were events for other games where Arceus was obtainable later on. Next, we have a kind of funny one, but Diamond and Pearl's English versions were loaded with references to memes and old internet stuff. And I didn't know this was in the game before looking into it, but one of these had to do with Let's Plays. See, in Diamond and Pearl, there's a pair of TV interviewers which you meet in Jubilee TV station, and what is cool is that one of them is named Roxy and uses a whooper in the battle. Now, this is actually a reference to a Let's Player who Let's Played Pokemon Crystal back in the old days before YouTube on a forum known as the Something Awful forums, and the person who did the Let's Play of Crystal was called Choro Kojo, and he called himself Roxy in his Crystal Let's Play and used a whooper. This all came to be because of one of the lead translators or localizers of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, known as Nob Ogasawara, was part of the Something Awful forums, and as such named the reporter Roxy as a reference to Chorokojo's Crystal Let's Play. A really cool and random little fact that I find really interesting. The fact that Roxy uses a whooper as well in the Diamond and Pearl games is really cool. She actually has it at level 17 with Slam, Mud Sport, Mud Shot, and Tail Whip, while the cameraman is named Ollie and uses a Meryl. Either way, a cool and random little fact about Diamond and Pearl. Just a really strange one. Next is a really creepy and weird fact from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and this one has to do with the strange thing that is mentioned in the books you find in Canalave Library. See, what is kind of strange is that the original Japanese versions of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, one of these books actually states that humans and Pokemon used to get married to each other, and apparently this was because there existed like no distinction between Pokemon and humans in the past. Honestly, a really strange and odd thing to have mentioned, but this was however changed once the games were localized into English to say that humans and Pokemon would basically eat at the same table, which, you know, was something they did in the past. Honestly, I don't know what Game Freak was thinking when they wrote this into the lore of the Japanese versions of the games. I mean, Pokemon marrying humans is just weird, and we already have enough R34 in Pokemon as is, and I don't think we need any more strangeness added into the mix. Like, honestly, it was already weird, we didn't need more added to it, but apparently Diamond and Pearl did that, so yeah. Odd. Next is a nice little Easter egg that can be found in Diamond and Pearl, which not many people know about, but on January the 12th is when Junichi Matsuda's birthday is, and what is interesting is that on this exact day in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, if you as the player are in Snow Point City on this day, the in-game snow will change from its usual normal one to a more sparkly snow. This is really cool as Junichi Matsuda was the director of the games, and he got this kind of like interesting little Easter egg for him on his birthday in the game. But another interesting fact is that the sparkly snow is actually a real weather effect or a real thing in real life called diamond dust, which we have in real life as well, which is really cool. Either way, a pretty cool little thing. It's actually something that Game Freak likes to do, where they leave these smaller Easter eggs like this in the games, and they kept doing these over the years. On specific days, there are things that happen in future Pokemon games, like the birthday events in the Pokemon centers. Next, did you know that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were actually the first ever Pokemon games where the professor's lab wasn't located in the same town as the player's home? In Diamond and Pearl, also, Rowan, interestingly, is the only professor to actually not be wearing a lab coat in his official artwork out of any of the other professors. The only other one is Sonia, but she isn't really the main professor in Sword and Shield and only becomes a true professor at the end of the game, while her grandmother Magnolia is the actual main professor and does have a lab coat in her official artwork, basically making Rowan the only professor to not have a lab coat in his official artwork, as well as the first ever professor to not have his lab in the player's starting town. Really strange and interesting. Next, we have a kind of odd little fact, but one of the Pokemon introduced in Generation 4 and the Sinnoh region was Buneary, and strangely enough, its evolution Lopunny is actually kind of based on the Playboy bunny caricature, or like bunny girls in general, that you may have seen in pop culture. And funny enough, bunny girls are actually very popular of a thing in loads of Japanese adult media, as well as Japanese manga and anime. So yeah, basically Lopunny is based on a bunny girl, which is very common in Japan in any sort of media, whether it be adult, manga, anime, etc. It is very present. So yeah, kind of weird. They really do like to give a lot of R34 to the internet, don't they? Especially in Generation 4, like wow. Next is the Maestas Island, where you can get stuck. So what are we talking about? Well, first of all, where is this place? Well, it's on Route 226 in Sinnoh. It is possible for the player to get stranded on Maestas Island after trading with Meister himself. Now, this will only happen if the player's Finneon is the sole Pokemon in their party able to learn Surf, which would be used to reach the island, while no other Pokemon can learn Fly or Teleport in the party at the time. The only way to escape is to take the Pokemon that Meister gives you, which is a Magikarp, and evolving it into Gyarados, and the only way to evolve it is by fishing for battles until Magikarp gets enough XP to evolve so that you can teach Gyarados Surf to get away, or basically fish for battles until you end up fainting and losing the battle, sending you to a Pokemon Center. However, if you play the game and never actually pick up a fishing rod at any point, then you are essentially stuck here on the island forever after you save on it. And another thing to keep in mind is that to get a Finneon, you require a good rod, so for this to work, you need a Finneon traded over from another game for this actual soft lock to work out. But basically, you can essentially soft lock yourself onto this little island. It's a cool little soft lock in Diamond and Pearl. I kind of think it's interesting, and I would love to actually try it out for a video in the future. If you guys want to see it, let me know. Next is a random little fact from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Now, this could be simply a coincidence, but when you fight Barry on Route 203, he will say, "Don't get cocky, kid. This isn't over yet," which could be a reference to what Han Solo says in Star Wars to Luke, which is, "Great kid, don't get cocky." A strange but nice little reference, perhaps, considering one of the localizers was an avid internet memer and fanatic. Either way, I'm happy to see one of my other favorite franchises kind of get a bit of a minor mention in one of my other favorite franchises. Basically, Star Wars and Pokemon mentioning each other here. I think it's pretty cool. I like it. Next up, did you know that Team Galactic and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl use illegal Pokemon? This is something that actually does happen in loads of Pokemon games. Even back in Red and Blue, Onix knew the move Bite a few levels too early. Either way, in Diamond and Pearl, the Galactic admins, or commanders, whatever you want to call them, actually had two of them with illegal Pokemon in battles. Jupiter uses a level 20 Skuntank, which shouldn't work considering Stunky doesn't evolve until level 34. And Mars uses a level 18 Purugly, which doesn't make sense since Glameow doesn't evolve until level 38. Really strange and interesting that they had kind of like, illegal Pokemon, quote unquote, back then. It's really strange, and Pokemon does do this. It makes sense for continuity, but like, in terms of like them having to have more evolved Pokemon over the grunts, etc. But also still a bit strange since it doesn't work for anyone else in the games technically. And the final fact for this video is one about Rotom, as Rotom actually has more forms than any other non-legendary Pokemon. And another interesting fact is that when you battle Rotom in Generation 4, is the only non-legendary Pokemon that uses a legendary Pokemon's encounter theme in its battle. A kind of strange little fact, but yeah, there you go. So that is basically it. So that is all for this video, and what do you guys think about these facts? Let me know in the comment section down below, and also if you want me to do more of these facts videos, let's get to 1,000 likes, and you can expect more of these soon. So yeah, make sure to hit the like button, comment for more, but also subscribe and hit the bell for more content, as only 7% of the people who are watching this are actually subscribed. So make sure to hit the subscription bell and the general stuff down there for more content. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and bye bye, ladies and gentlemen.